Hola amigos de www.albinusrol.com. Pues aquí estamos una vez más en The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Y si recordáis, pues estuvimos en la posada donde encontramos a Zoltan, al enano, que nos habló sobre Jaskier. Y parece ser que en su agenda pues se reunía en los últimos días con varias mujeres. Y quizá alguna pueda tener algo de información porque nos acerque a encontrar al bardo, a Jaskier. Así que vamos a empezar con Véspula, me parece que es la primera, y a ver si hay suerte.
I will get you every last copper, with interest. Give me a week, please.
Horson's no banker. He's an honest man. You pay on time, you get protection. You don't pay.
Help!
What you hollering for, stupid wench? What are you hoping for? A knight in shining armour?
Close enough.
Keep out of this, greyhead, not your concern.
La deuda o 200 pavos, porque estás tonto. Para que luego vengáis a por más pasta. Pues ahora.
Vespula's got someone else's protection now.
Really? Who's that be?
Bueno, puedo decir el rey de los mendigos, que va a ser el nuevo... Sí, venga, rey de los mendigos.
The king of beggars made a deal with Junior. This is his turf now.
Didn't hear nothing about that.
But you have heard what Bedlam does to people who cross him. Or you need a demonstration?
Come on, Fritz. Boss wants it that way. It's how it's got to be.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. To think there are men who'll help a stranger out of the kindness of their hearts.
Not entirely out of kindness, and you're not entirely a stranger.
What are you... Oh, I know you. You're that witcher took Dandelion out whoring. Gerald, right?
Y que me diga Jaskier, que putas, ¿no?
Not Gerald. Geralt.
Oh. Dreadful sorry.
Explain something if you don't mind. You say I took Dandelion out whoring.
So he said. Claimed I was his one and only. But he fell in with the wrong folk. You and that dwarf who always looks like a cow licked him. Said you two were a bad example. Wine, women.
Song. He picked that habit up from us too? Gotta have a word with him.
Bueno, hemos echado ahí a los bastardos esos. No sé yo si luego va a haber movida con el rey de los mendigos, pero fíjate que no. Fijaos que no he pegado ni un solo golpe.
What do you think? Where could Dandelion be?
Probably out whoring. That horse pheasant. That lying scoundrel.
Ouch. What did he do to get your goat?
Same thing as ever. Prize bullshitter came back saying it was till death do we part this time. And no more than a week passed before I spotted him in Harbourside, strolling with some trollop on his arm. 'Twas the last straw. All those questions about the washerwomen at the bathhouse, then this. I beat him black and blue and threw him out on his ear.
Dandelion ask you about other washerwomen? Not terribly subtle even for him.
Maybe he likes some sudsy.
Maybe. But what did he ask about, exactly?
Oh, this and that, really. What's it like at the bathhouse? Have I got any friends there? What are their working hours? I don't know. Maybe he's looking to hire one for his tavern. Maybe I got all in a huff for no reason.
Bueno, veremos a ver con quién andaba.
This
Menudo
woman
pájaro.
was within the harbor. Who was she?
Claimed she was his niece from Kovir. Ha! Horvir, more likely. Corset so tight her eyes were popping out her head. His too, come to think of it. An artist or a whore. Doesn't much matter as they're one in the same.
Pues nada, nos marchamos entonces. Gracias y buena suerte.
Thanks for your help. Listen, when I find Dandelion, anything I should tell him?
No. I mean, Tell him he's a two-faced snake, but it would be nice if he dropped by.
Bueno, pues ya vamos a hablar con uno. Ahora vamos a llamar al caballo. Y vamos a buscar a la siguiente, que es Elial. Creo que esta era la que era elfa.
Not so fast, Roach.
Por aquí, por aquí. Vale, mira, no estaba muy lejos. Aquí, no la puerta esta.
Welcome, welcome. Do come in.
Ya, pero si es una... Bueno.
I'm a friend of Dandelion's, looking for Elial.
You've come to the right spot. How might I be of service? Need something shortened? Patch your trousers, darn your socks.
You Elial?
Yes. Now pick your jaw up off the floor.
Sorry, I thought Elial was one of Dandelion's girlfriends.
Oh, so it's that. Wait here. Any better?
So you're...
Elial.
Did you and Dandelion... I mean... How did you two meet?
I met him one night in a tavern. He was blind drunk.
Iba a decir, no quiero saber el resto, pero bueno. Quiero saber más sobre mi amigo.
What happened?
What do you think? We spoke.
That's it.
I'm not sure what you're getting at, but I should make one thing clear. Men don't interest me. Told him that as well. Luckily, Dandelion's an open-minded fellow. We had a lovely evening. He became a loyal customer afterwards.
Dandelion visit your shop often?
I tried many times to talk him into a decent doublet. Sadly, he'd only come in to get a button reaffixed or a hole patched.
When'd you last see him?
Some time ago. He brought in one of Zoltan's jerkins, insisted I sew on an extra pocket. Odd as requests go, I had the distinct feeling he'd actually come to talk.
Pues de cada 6.
What did you and Dandelion talk about? He asked about anything in particular?
Let me think. Had an ordinary chat, really. Although, indeed, he did keep asking about Kalkstein. If Dandelion and I hadn't laid our cards on the table at the start, I might have suspected he had a history with the alchemist. He spoke like a lovesick beau. In fact, he desperately wished to meet with him.
Kalkstein's in Novigrad? Wouldn't mind seeing him myself.
You're too late, I fear. The witch hunters nabbed him recently, burned him at the stake in Hierarch Square. But as he perished, oh, the goings-on, impressive. Fiery beasts circled his pyre, then rose into the sky and exploded to form letters.
Really? What did they spell?
Radovid sucks flaccid cock.
I know this is none of my business.
No, no es asunto mío, pero bueno.
Why do I dress up? As a child, I dreamt of becoming a Doppler when I grew up. I became a tailor instead. Discovered clothing. Costumes can express all the complexities of one's personality. I'm a Redanian countess one day, a dockside thug the next. That is true freedom. Have you never thought to become someone else? Even for a moment? Must be horribly boring being a witcher all the time.
I managed to stay interested.
Pues nada, gracias por tu ayuda. Una
Thanks for
conversación más.
And nice to meet you.
I can help with much more. If you need new trousers or a vest, you know where to find me.
Pues sale. Me queda Molly. Marabela y Rosa.
Run, Roach.
No sé si puedo entrar cabalgando. Yo creo que sí, mira, no me dicen nada. Bueno, imagino que te chocas mucho con la gente, pues. En Novigrado no para de llover, A ver, móvil. Ah, esta era la criada de no, o algo así, ¿no?
This baronet's La Vallette's villa.
Shouldn't interest you. The Baroness don't mingle with just anyone.
Don't worry. I'm here to see your chambermaid, Molly.
Out of the way. Baroness is riding out. Be gone.
Greetings, Witcher. Must admit it's curious to see you here. I don't quite believe in coincidences.
Geralt of Rivia, slayer of monsters, and my son.
You're right, General. My visit's no accident. I'm looking for someone.
There's no one here who wishes to see you. Captain, this man is not to enter. Forgive me, Morvran, but I've lost my appetite for the races.
Kill a woman's son and appear at her doorstep? My. I thought witches had better survival skills than that.
Looking for a girl named Molly. Heard she works here.
I fear your information's out of date. Molly no longer works here.
No, al de peña me da igual, pero ¿dónde puedo encontrarlo?
Seem to know who Molly is. You also know she doesn't work here anymore. Know where I can find her, maybe?
This time of day? Probably sipping punch and considering which horse to bet on.
Not in the mood for jokes.
I jest you not. After Arian's demise, Luis's nephew came to pay his respects. Got one glance of Molly and, well, they wed soon after. They now await his inheritance. With the Baroness's son dead, the estate will go to the nephew and Lady Latta, known until recently simply as Molly.
O sea, que se casó por dinero. Hombre, parece que sí, ¿no?
Gotta wonder if Molly fell for the nephew or his inheritance.
We cannot know that just yet. But I'd wager she has strong feelings for both.
All right, so where'll I find the newly minted Lady Latta?
Our dear little Molly has a new passion, horse racing. To my knowledge, she should be at Countess Vegelbud's villa right now. That's exactly where I'm going. Since you stripped me of Louise's company, perhaps you'd agree to come along.
Bueno, no me importa acompañarte.
Well, if Molly'll be there.
On our way, then. We've arrived.
Nice place.
I must say, of all the creatures in this region, I find steeds most intriguing. Horses interest you at all, Witcher?
All the same to me. Call each one I ride Roach.
Strange. The grey is Cantarella, sired by Jaskier, the champion from Vol.
Yeah. Gray's a good color. Even looks good on horses.
My coin's on the black stallion, Nemrod, purest Nilfgaardian stock.
Surprised he didn't salute you, General.
Vamos a ver qué le sabe mucho.
Know your horses.
I find them to be far more honest than men. Must say, I'm curious how you manage in the saddle, Witcher.
Mostly just try to stay in it.
What would you say to a little race?
Not what I came here for.
Don't make me beg, Witcher. Tell you what, win, and I shall give you my finest saddle, made in Nilfgaard proper of beautifully tanned leather.
Bueno, podemos echar la carrerita, ¿no? Ya que hemos venido.
Why not? Wouldn't mind seeing if your knowledge of horses translates into riding skills.
Ha! Splendid! In that case, you must choose a mount.
Y bueno, cantarela.
Think I'll take the gray mare.
In that case, I shall try my luck on the Zerrikanian Bay. The horses are saddled. Let's begin.
Pues nada, vamos a echar una carrera. Esto no soy muy bueno, pero...
Riders, ready!
I adore the speed, the rush of air.
Hey-ya!
Come on, Witcher. Let's see what you're made of.
A veces se va cansando el caballo y... no puedo meter mucha tralla.
I adore the speed, the rush of air.
Faster.
Don't spare the horse. I adore the speed, the rush of air.
Bueno, te pones delante, le bloqueas un poco. Y como van a ganar al final.
Acknowledge it, Witcher. I'm the superior rider.
I'll acknowledge your roach proved faster. Congratulations.
Ah, look. Lady Latar has just arrived.
Who?
The woman formerly known as Molly. There she stands.
Right. Thanks.
I shall be here for a time. Find me if you'd like to ride back to the city together.
Bueno, pues vamos a hablar con Molly. Bueno, ha habido ahí un momento que parecía que iba a ganar y me he quedado ahí pillado. Más sorpresa, es que es un muy manco.
Who do you favor, milady?
Can't decide between the black stallion and the grey mare. Keep going back and forth, back and forth. Sorry, don't believe we've been introduced.
I'm Geralt.
Geralt! That Geralt! The one Dandelion's rescued time and time again.
Me imagino que sería oro, pero bueno, no le voy a quitar la ilusión.
Wouldn't be here if not for Dandelion.
Told me all about your adventures. How he'd ready you for battle with his songs. How he tamed the Kairan by playing his lute.
I meant that literally. Dandelion's why I'm here. Came to ask you about him. Know where he might be?
No. Sadly, I haven't got a clue. We've not seen each other in ages. Ever since I became Lady Latard, it's been nothing but balls, banquets, and other such... congregations. Awful tiring, all this. But... or maybe his sister could help you. Such a nice girl.
Que piensa que es una sirvienta, claro.
I'm under the impression Dandelion thinks you still serve the Lavalettes.
Oh, that's because I never told him I stopped. Didn't want him to treat me any different.
And your husband has nothing against it? Your old friendship?
Course not. Sweetiekins couldn't be happier that Dandelion's raising me sophistication.
Any chance you remember your last conversation with Dandelion?
Of course. He came to borrow some coin for a barge.
What? Why do you need a barge?
To take me on a romantic cruise of the canals by the light of the moon. Said there'd be strawberries and that wine with the bubbles, and he'd sing me arias. But I've not seen him since.
Que no tenía ninguna hermana, claro.
You do realize Dandelion doesn't have a sister.
Sure he does. Saw him myself. Funny, she don't look like him at all. Blonde, for starters. Maybe they've different fathers.
Mm-hmm. Different mothers, too.
Maybe. But you could see he cares for her. Looks after her. The way he carried her packages and...
Know where I can find her, Dandelion's sister?
I know. Whenever I ask Dandelion when we visit her, he'd grow all quiet and then change the subject.
Claro, pues no era su hermana, pero bueno.
Thanks, Molly.
Wait. Before you go, I've got a request. Dandelion told me once he'd show me his etchings, but he never did. I'd so like to see them.
Won't be too hard to convince him. He loves showing off those etchings to anyone he can.
Oh, that's wonderful! Thanks, and good luck to you on your search.
Ya se puede subir por aquí. Ya, espera. O sea, que yo no me quedo a las carreras, ¿eh?
Ah, Geralt, there you are. Shall we return together?
Pues sí.
Gladly.
Vamos a volver, que todavía me queda hacer visitas.
I'd say the same. Well then, let's go.
Me imagino que volveremos otra vez a casa cada unas horas después. Pues nada, me despediré del general y vamos a ver. Creo que me faltaba una o dos.
And here we are. Thank you for your company.
Likewise. See ya.
Bueno, he sido amable y ya está. Menos señora. Bueno, nos queda Maravela. Si no está muy lejos de aquí. Es por aquí.
A storm, damn it.
Y siempre llueve, sí. Tormentas y de todo. ¿Tras cuántos niños, no?
Excuse me. I'm looking for Marabella.
I am she. Wait outside. Class is in session.
Es profesora. Venga, va. Pero ¿qué voy a hacer? No me he trompeado ni.
It won't take long. It turns out he'll not come after all. Why not? A rat bit him, and he's caught a fever.
Where'd he get bit? It hurt him much. Will he die? Don't die from rats, stupid. Yes, you do. Just the other day I saw a witch hunter tell a man, "You rat," and then he killed him.
Liar. That's enough. We're done for the day. Gather your things and go home.
Solo doña Angelina.
Wonder if the rat catcher will get well.
Like as not.
How do you know? Mum
Hola,
says
niño.
he but catches a cough.
Now can we talk?
Yes. What do you want?
I know you saw Dandelion recently.
Oh, yes. Longest afternoon of my life.
He read you his poems.
No. We perused the illustrated guide to fungi.
Maybe... No. Won't even try to guess why he wanted to do that.
Mold. That was his interest. When his hand abandoned my knee to point at a figure of penicillium, I knew the fire between us had died. Permanently.
Found a poem Dandelion wrote about you. Portrayed you as an unusually talented individual.
Really? Did he mention my poetry? Horses have always fascinated me. I've always longed to extol their noble beauty. Did you see any of my work at Dandelions? Mere exercises, true, but I'd be curious to know what you thought of them.
No. Didn't see any.
Gee up! A snakely whip rose skyward. Gee-haw! Crack! She reined the beast in. The stallion danced betwixt her thighs. Lava bathed its chinny chin.
Sorry, don't know much about poetry.
Bueno, pues si la ha visto.
Dandelion after the fungus incident?
No. I even considered granting him another chance. His heart of hearts is pure gold. He simply needs a bit more discipline in his life. But he never came back to see me. So I thought if it's done, it's done.
Pues nada, muchísimas gracias.
Thanks for your help. Farewell.
Bueno, nos queda una. Vamos a ver. No estamos lejos, ahora todos los críos aquí. Por aquí. Bueno, pero esta también era noble, ¿no? Dos sabanatos, ¿eh?
What, did you catch it?
No. Driving in slippery the bugger as quick as a tomcat. Scrambled out the hole in the back wall.
Sounds like fun.
Necesito una llave. Ah, pero está aquí lo bueno. Si llevamos la misma armadura, hermana.
Rosa var Atra's expecting me. Supposed to give her lessons in swordplay.
Come with me. Miss Rosa awaits. Won't you realise what you've got yourself into?
Hope so too.
Miss Rosa's got a downright beastly temper. Shows no mercy when she grips a sword.
Me imagino, sí, que la niña es especial.
And take care not to hurt the little miss. You'll earn the ambassador's ire. Follow me.
Hombre, que te sigo. Ya, rubia.
You're my new instructor. Well, Papa clearly went out of his way this time. Wood, to start with. I must know your worth.
Nada, vamos a ver lo que hago con la madera. Mira. Vamos a ver. Oye, se defiende bien, ¿eh?
Damn it! Well fought. You're much better than the last one.
I'm not actually your swordplay instructor.
Really? Then who are you? And how on earth did you get in?
Vas a decir que soy brujo, claro.
I'm a witcher. I'm looking for...
A witcher? That's splendid. I always wanted to meet a witcher. This is so exciting.
Mucho, sí.
Incredibly. But we ought to discuss that another time. Came to ask about your rhetoric tutor, Dandelion.
Rhetoric tutor? Good one. That is why Papa hired him, but not at all what the bard had in mind. He mostly played his lute and sang for us. I believe he thought he was wooing.
Mean he wasn't? But you had some sort of relationship?
If you call him chasing after me a relationship. Even so, there was nothing between us. Seems my sisters had a bit of fun at our expense. But enough chatter. Stand and fight. I demand a rematch. Rat it. You're quick.
La revancha. Ahora sí que mete, ¿eh? Me mete, ¿eh? No la veo.
Damn it! Well, if you're not an instructor, you should certainly be one. Fancy giving me a few private lessons?
No, estoy ocupado, pero alguna clase de...
Can't rightly refuse a request from a lady.
What are you two lovebirds whispering about? You asked about my relationship with Dandelion? Well, here's the mix-up's mastermind. Edna Va Atra, the greatest mischief
Pues son
maker
gemelas, ¿no?
north or south of the Yaruga.
Las confundió.
Wait a minute. Mean to say Dandelion mixed you two up?
On occasion, yes. But then Rosa would quickly set him straight. If you'd shut your catty mouth for a moment, dear little sister, I could explain. Edna sent Dandelion some love letters. She signed my name. Conceited as he is, naturally he fell for it. I was left to repel the aging bard's advances. Rosa, I had the best of intentions, you know that. I felt you needed help taking the first step. You blushed every time he sang a ballad. He'll next sing at your funeral if you don't stop it right now.
Calm down, ladies. No poet's worth two sisters nipping at each other's throats.
Especially not this one.
Listen, I just want to know one thing. Either of you seen Dandelion lately?
Edna might have. I certainly have not. My dear sister, I would never spend time alone with a man for whom you burn with a secret passion. Burn with passion? For one who incessantly praises another woman's talents? Afraid I've more sense than that.
Dandelion act any different lately? Notice anything strange?
Strange? Not really. It's no use, Geralt. She's so enamored she'd hardly notice if he turned into a werewolf. Edna, what? You needn't pretend he followed convention. Remember when he took us to the cemetery?
Rhetoric lessons in a cemetery. Unusual even for Dandelion.
We set out to visit the graves of celebrated Oxenford professors. He ended up quizzing us about Margrave Henkel.
Who?
Eccentric old coot. Died recently. He'd apparently been an important and generous patron of the arts as a young man.
Vaya. Voy a preguntar que a ellas que están
What are
aquí.
two young Nilfgaardian aristocrats doing in Novigrad?
Dying of boredom. Papa's a diplomat. He also has many business dealings in Novigrad. He's a member of the Trade Corporation. Takes us along everywhere he goes, and must then find us new tutors in each spot. And so in Novigrad, the task fell to the poet Dandelion, Rosa's betrothed. Edna!
Me voy a preguntar que si les interesa la
But
política.
sophisticated young ladies like you know a bunch about politics.
We've picked up a few things. What would you like to know?
Emperor continuing to push north. Courtiers must be ecstatic.
His confidants must be. But Papa says that's not likely to last much longer.
Why not?
Papa says the war's disrupting trade, and people are tired of financing the Emperor's adventures.
Wonder how the war's going. Any outcome looming?
Papa says much depends on Radovid, and on who captures Novigrad first.
What's Novigrad got to do with it? Free city. Never taken sides. Always stayed out of conflicts.
Oh, even children know Novigrad's home to the world's largest fleet. And they say the city's treasury is bursting with enough to equip 2 armies.
Anda, pues será una ciudad libre en unidad. Bueno, vamos a ver alguna pregunta más.
Changing subjects. Who'd Dandelions sing about? Know anything about her?
I believe she's a poetess, or trabaritz. Very skilled and exceptionally talented, of course.
This woman. Not a local, right?
I seem to remember him praising her melodious Kaviri accent. Makes sense. He referred to her as Kalonetta a few times. Bizarre names are common in Kavir.
Gotta ask Zoltan about this Kalonetta.
Pues de morirme.
Been a pleasure, but I've got stuff to take care of.
Exceedingly nice to meet you. Please come again. Well, can I expect any more lessons in future?
¿Dónde y cuándo? Venga.
Awfully convincing, miss. Wonder where you learned it. Name the time and place.
House here, tomorrow. Same time as today.
See you then.
See you, Master Witcher.
Pues nada, habrá que vestirse. Pues nada amigos, espero que os haya gustado este gameplay, que se ha hecho un poquito más largo que los habituales, pero bueno, así ya actualizamos la misión de Flores Rotas, hemos hablado con todas las amigas de Jaskier y ahora pues tenemos que hablar con su amigo Zoltan, con el enano, para que nos hable de esa última Canabel o algo así, creo que era el nombre. Que parece que ser la amiga de la que estaba fascinado. Una montrena aquí, Rosa. Vamos a ver la montrena. Parece que estaba fascinado Jaskier. Así que nada, muchísimas gracias por vuestra atención y hasta el próximo vídeo. Chao.